Hi again. In the previous Chapter 7 videos, we recorded sales transactions for Wine Country Gift Shop into the sales and general journals and posted the transactions to the general ledger. In this video, we'll continue the exercise by posting to the individual customer cards in the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. This video will continue using the same worksheets that you used for the previous lecture. If you don't have those worksheets, please download and print them so you can follow along with the video and practice posting sales transactions to the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. It is important to realize that we need to keep track of accounts receivable by customer. Keeping this level of detail in our accounting records allows us to know who owes us money and to contact customers who have not paid us on time. In order to keep this level of detail, we need to maintain an accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. Let's get started by posting each debit to accounts receivable from the sales journal to each customer's accounts receivable card in the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. You'll need to pass by two general ledger pages to find the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. Looking at page 6 of the sales journal, you can see that on February 3rd, we recorded a debit to accounts receivable in the amount of $81 for customer Joel Bennett. Let's record that $81 debit to Joel Bennett's customer card in the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. Find Joel Bennett's customer card. Date, February 3rd. Sales slip number 201. The posting reference is the journal page where the amount was originally recorded, S6 in this case. $81 debit, creating a balance on his account of $81. Return to the sales journal and record a check mark in the posting reference column next to the $81. Next, post the $216 debit to Ken Hamlet's customer card. Find Ken Hamlet's card. Date, February 10th. Sales slip number 202. Posting reference S6. Debit $216, creating a balance on his account of $216. Return to the sales journal and put a check mark in the posting reference column next to the $216. Why don't you pause this video and finish posting each of the remaining debits to accounts receivable showing on the sales journal to the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger customer cards. When you're finished, start the video again to check your answers. Customer Vicki Neal. Date February 13th. Sales slip number 203. posting reference S6, debit $324, creating a balance on her account of $324. The next transaction was for Amy Pelosa, date February 26th, sales slip number 204, posting reference S6, debit $432, creating a balance on her account of $432. And the final transaction was for customer Gordon Dunn, date February 28th, sales slip number 205, posting reference S6, debit $162, creating a balance on his account of $162. Note that I completed the posting references on the sales journal by placing a tick mark or a check mark next to each of the debit amounts that I posted to the customer's ledger cards. Okay, now we're finished all of the debits to accounts receivable from the sales journal. They're posted to the individual customer cards for the month of February. However, these transactions are not all that affected the accounts receivable during the month. Remember that we gave Vicki Neal an allowance because of incomplete gift items she purchased from us. This transaction was recorded in the general journal. Turning to the general journal, let's post this $54 credit to accounts receivable to Vicki Neal's customer card. Accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, Vicki Neal. This date was February 16th. Date February 16th. Credit Memo 101. The posting reference is General Journal or GJ16. Credit 54, leaving a balance on her account of $270. The $324 previous debit balance minus the $54 credit we just posted to her card leaves a $270 debit balance on her account. Go back to the general journal and place a check mark next to the $54 credit. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll use the balances on the individual customer cards to prepare a schedule of accounts receivable at the end of the month. See you next time.